What's up, guys? Gerard and Gabby, we are back for another episode of the Kicks and Shit Show. Gabby, what is happening out here in these... I always say COVID streets. I mean, yes, that's just the reality of what it is. What's happening in these tropical storm slash COVID slash already middle of August streets?
I mean, there's a lot happening. Basketball is back.
It sure
I'm
is.
super jazzed about that. Well, I feel like it's like NBA playoffs. There's something about it. Even if there is a team you're not a fan of, how can you not watch? It's like
great.
Another level. It's like NBA 2K in real life. Every game, all the time, except the Knicks weren't invited, which breaks my heart. Feeling some kind of way about it, but, you know. Got a lot of good basketball TV, so I can't be mad about that. And we got some ladies sneakers launching this week, which you know I'm jazzed about.
We do know that.
Things.
No, it's actually good. You know, it's funny because you had said to me a while back, you know, Gerard, summer has not been canceled. And even though, like, we've been on lockdown, quarantine, all this stuff, summer's kind of been going on. I have to say, it's been strange. It's August, and, like, we're watching basketball. Like, my brain is still sort of, like, adjusting to, like, this is not, you don't watch basketball during this time. It's not what you do. Like, this is like, you know, I'm either like US Open's coming up. There are other things going on that I'm doing work wise. It's like, but now it's just like, oh, playoffs and the basketball has been outstanding and really good. It's just been a bit of an adjustment from a work schedule standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really feels real, to be honest with you. I mean, we had hockey earlier this week.
Yeah.
I say earlier this week, it's still going on, but for the Rangers, it ended.
Yeah.
Quite abruptly.
Yeah.
Feeling some kind of way about that as well. New York has to do some sort of removal of the curse that we have in our sports teams, but we'll get there. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, hockey in August, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what I ate for lunch yesterday. I don't know, but I am here for it.
Yes.
There's been some great sneaker launches. We've got a lot of great basketball on TV. I know, like I said, I'm here for it, even though my teams aren't in there. The virtual fans, the whole experience has been, shout to the NBA. They've done a really great job of making it feel constant also. Like, I don't feel like I need to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning for certain games. It's true, like that are on the West Coast. So it's like, thank you for accommodating my schedule, NBA. We really appreciate that. And the level of play, because everyone's excited to be back.
Yeah.
It's like this weird, it's like they're at summer camp or something.
Yes, it looks like summer camp.
It's like Camp NBA at the bubble, right? It's like, I'm here for all the lives. Go off, J.R. Smith. Go ahead.
And
PJ Tucker, bring 90 suitcases with all your sneakers. I am here for it.
Not only that, the fits, listen, it's one thing NBA players are going to do. Their fits are going to be fresh no matter where they are. Think about it. If it's a summer camp vibe, well, you got to make sure your summer camp gear is fresher than all the other campers' gear, right? So their fits are on point, man. I saw LeBron had the Liverpool kit on the other day. I mean, it's like, listen, there's still that opportunity to walk into and out of, and the cameras are going to follow. So, hey, man, even your mask, we talked about a couple episodes ago, is your mask looking fresh? Can you make it look fire? A lot of fire NBA masks we see out there. So kudos to the NBA, and we're super excited. Playoffs in full swing. Exciting basketball. Clippers. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking right now. In any event.
Clippers.
Clippers. I just, you know,
okay.
top to bottom, I just think that team is so good. And defensively, there's a gear they can get to that I don't think any other team can get to. Maybe the 76ers when they're playing well, but, you know, 76ers. And potentially the Lakers. But there's something about them. And even though the Bucks are the number one defense in terms of defensive rating, it's just something about when I watch the Clippers with my eyeballs. It's like, oh man, like they can get after it. But we'll get to that at a later date. We are excited, Gabby, because we have another guest this week. He is a basketball aficionado. He's associated with the very popular NBA Bubble Life account. It's going to be great. So I'm not going to tell you who it is. You'll have to wait and see in the next segment. What's up, guys? Ron and Gabby, we are back, and we're not alone. We are joined all the way from Arizona early in the morning by Mr. Travonne Edwards, NBA analyst with The Athletic. You might know him on the internet as Black Trey. Trey, what's good, my man?
What's going on? Thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate it, man. So, you know, Trey, I've been following you for a while on Twitter, and now working with True Hoop. We had you on as a guest recently. And True Hoop, because of the connection with Jade and Count the Dings, and I've been a Count the Dings guy, follower for a long time. So I feel like in so many ways, I know you because I listen to you on Bomb all the time, on all the various shows, right? But for our audience who may not be aware, I want to get into a little bit of your journey and like how you are plugged into the basketball scene, because a lot of people may not know you're from LA originally. You're a Compton guy. Trey is always very clear to make sure that people know he's a Compton guy and like a true Compton guy. He ain't like one of these I live on the outskirts. No. Like legit Compton guy. And you play ball at Dominguez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So talk to the people about your journey through basketball and how you kind of got connected or NBA adjacent, I'll call it.
Well, first of all, I want to shout out my grandma for making me play basketball because I hated it. I actually posted a picture on Twitter saying where it all began. And I'm frowning in the picture because I just wanted to play Sega. And, but I was getting in trouble. My dad had just died and I was just doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And she was like, well, you're going to play basketball. And it starts there. But obviously, Compton in the 90s, especially early 90s, being around like 10, 11. It was a rough area with gangs and drugs and stuff like that. So you could easily kind of get off track. I went to Portland, Oregon in like 95. My cousin Bruce and my uncle Bub, he was a coach and he put me in Terrell Brandon's basketball camp. And also, Nike headquarters is there. Mm-hmm. So like my grandma lived around the corner from a Nike outlet. And I got like really, really into sneakers. Like she got me the Air Diamond Turf 2, a pair of like Arachis at that time. I want to say, I don't know the specific name on that. And then the Jordan 9 Olive.
Ooh.
So I went back to Compton and like the kids were like all want to like obviously were like surrounding me and all this like, yo, you got multiple shoes, this and that. And I just fell in love from there. But like I started hooping in my shoes. Like I'm talking about, kid wise, you play in your sneakers till you like get a hole in them. Mm-hmm. Like, and I did like everything. So if I played touch football, I'm putting on the Deons. If I'm hooping, I'm putting on the J's. Like, if I'm doing anything, if I had a way to mix it up, and this is a crazy combo at 10 and 11, I'm wearing like nylon sweats with like oversized like Space Jam t-shirts and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool. But like playing basketball, especially in Compton, like you either can make it or you don't. I mean, I know some more talented guys that should have, did more with their basketball career, and they just kind of tapped out, joined gangs, sold drugs. Some didn't make it and got murdered. But in my specific situation, I don't think I was like a great basketball player. I thought I just worked hard. But I always was like in the school. So like when it was time for me to graduate, like I had one offer and I ended up taking it and I played. I actually went to Texas Southern and I didn't like it. Like it was a black college. I thought that was cool. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Houston, but I was homesick. Mm-hmm. I stopped going to class. Like I had like a crazy I probably the worst GPA somebody can possibly have. It wasn't even like a 1 point something.
You're in the zeros.
Yeah, I tapped out like after like the first month, especially I knew I had the red shirt and stuff like that. So I was like really over it. And then I went back home and I got a chance to coach DeMar DeRozan at my old high school in Compton. It was 2005. And my old basketball coach invited me to join his staff. And at this time, DeMar's like 10th grade. He also played with Edgar Garbe, who ended up going, I think, to LMU or something like that. Mm-hmm. But they were really raw. And I knew kind of like DeMar was going to be like something because he just wanted to stay and work out. I didn't never have that drive to work out until like I got into college and kind of moved on. But after a year with just working with him, I went back to school. And I was an older player. The next year, I ended up going to an NAIA in Iowa. Waldorf College. I've never been to Iowa in my life. Like I just knew that it was like very not black.
It was not Compton.
Right? It was not Compton. So it was a culture shock. But I matured as a man there, obviously dealing with the snow, figuring things out, dealing with just different cultures. It was a Lutheran college, so it was like heavily religion based. But during that time, I also became, I joined the teaching program. So from there, I was teaching and playing and doing all this other stuff and trying to make it work. And I got a chance to go the opening, actually inaugural season of the NBL of Canada. So I went to Oshawa and did some stuff there. And then I came back home and I during the lockout, the G League, well, it wasn't. It was the D League. It was the D League at the time. Mm-hmm. they had a Boost Mobile tryout, an open tryout. And at this time, like all my friends are like in the league at this time, but I'm like, I still can hoop. I'm hanging with y'all like during pickups. I should be good. And I felt like I was playing the best at my time. I ended up getting invited to Bakersfield Jam and making the team. And I got my rights got traded to Idaho, the Idaho Stampede.
Yeah.
And I got waived in training camp. So like, it was tough, but then I just was over it. I tapped out at 25 and I became a teacher. I moved out here in Arizona for a young lady. It didn't work out and I just stayed. And I really like teaching the kids, and I've probably been a teacher for like 6 years now. But like my connections, during the time of playing in LA produces so much talent, right? Mm-hmm. And I've got the chance to see James Harden be a little kid. I've got the chance to see DeMar be a little kid. Like all the kids from my area, Russell Westbrook, like these guys sometimes didn't even get off the bench. And then all of a sudden it just happens. But around my time, Darrell Wright was my AAU teammate. Yep. Robert Swift was my AAU teammate. Mm-hmm. Tyson Chandler for a brief moment was my high school teammate. Just seeing a bunch of talent, but like watching those guys become pros, they respected me for the level that I played at in a high school level. So like, being around the game, I was a part of an entourage. I hung around Marcus Williams from UConn. Yep. We were really tight at the time, and then also Brandon Jennings. Mm-hmm. So I got a chance to, be around the league for roughly like 12 years. And around that time, we would, I always was like funny, cracking jokes and stuff like that. Guys on the teams would be like, yo, take my number. And here and there, I would kick it with them, So I just built that rapport and just always been a cool cat, like just being funny. And when I got on Twitter in 2009, like, oh man, it's night and day from now because I've matured so much. Like if I still had some of those old Twitter accounts, I probably would be canceled. Like not saying problematic stuff, but I think that like I was just so childish and playful. Yeah. And I didn't know what social media was like, So like I had jumped off for a while because I was pretty weird about people just being in my personal life. I just wanted to have fun with it. And I made my last account, which I have now. I'm almost entering my 3-year Twitterversary in September. So
happy Twitterversary.
No, I mean, that's dope, Trey, because I think what you really gave the audience was a master class on essentially how you build your network, right? I mean, and it was,
that's it.
And it was organic, right? I mean, these are cats you play ball with. And then when you were still, even though you weren't in the league, you were adjacent because you tried out for the D League. You got your white rights waived. Look at that. That's a tongue twister. And you were still around those dudes, but you weren't trying to get anything from them. It wasn't like, oh, let me do this. It was like, nah, you were just cool, just being yourself, like it's talking. And they said, oh, Trey, I like you. Yo, let me get your number, man. And then as time is built up now you're over at The Athletic doing stuff. When you need to work on a piece or get some information or intel, you can easily hit up one of your guys and be like, hey man, I'm working on this thing. Can you help me out? And I'm sure that relationship is great. They're willing to help you because you don't want anything from them, right? It's like, yo, man, like I've been knowing you for 20 years.
I think it's a weird scenario. So I'm here locally in Phoenix, and when I was covering the Suns, well, not covering the Suns because I really wasn't. I was kind of all NBA. The Athletic really didn't assign me to a team. But it was funny because always when we were at the coaches' pressers and guys are walking to the locker room, they would double take because they didn't know I was a credentialed media member, for one. And then secondly, like, they let you in? Oh, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, like, that's crazy. So, like, but then, respectfully, I let the journalists do their jobs. Like, I don't really kind of, step on toes. But, like, I also, it's so funny because I'll wait and I'll just be looking. And then they'll kind of catch me from a glimpse of the eye and stop the interview and come and, like, dap me. And then people are like, yo, you media, like, what type of relationship do you have with these guys? And I'm like, oh, that's really my friend. Like, I really know these cats. Like, I don't, but like, also I have that trust with them too, that I wouldn't spin a story. Yes. Like, I try to be mindful and understand, because I've been a player before. I know that you're going to have bad games. I know that you're going to, before tip off, you might get a text where your cousin wants $10,000 wired and they don't understand how wiring works, that you can't send. Right. You have to send like $999.
Right, exactly, because it's gonna trigger an IRS notification, and you don't want that. Right.
Yeah, you stuff you don't want to deal with, or you getting bad news before a game, and you're playing through all that, and they never share that part, or just in general, like, you know. So fans are pretty cruel. The media sometimes can be pretty cool, not understanding that these guys are human too. So, it's pretty cool to be able to help people out and put the right stories out for them.
Go ahead, Gabs.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talk about that a lot, how, as a fan, I mean, I'm an emotional fan. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life, which is
I'm sorry to hear
life.
that.
I know, it's okay. I get that a lot. I'm loyal, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of girl you want to end up with as a Knicks fan. Let me tell you, we're very loyal. But we talk about that a lot, about how emotion gets in the way. And we forget that these athletes are real people at the end of the day. And like on KNS, we're all about authenticity. And so I think it's interesting that you've come through that path, and you talk about social media not knowing your personal life, but social media is one of those weird places where it's authentic, but like you don't really have to reveal your personal life. So how did you find a balance between journalism and being yourself and still being a resource and a friend to these guys?
I don't think I have a balance, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, there's some points where I'm sure I'm cutting the line with, you know, I just haven't had that like talking to from the people up top, you know, like they just kind of like let me rock, which is great. But yeah, I mean, I think always I just never really was a person to like show off my life. It's kind of like shout out to my man William H. He created this term. He said he's in it for the real life likes, right? And that stuck out to me. So I'm like, you know, like I think that I'm a pretty unique person, and when we hang out, you'll kind of get a taste of my real life, of what I'm actually doing versus what idea I've kind of painted in picture, you know, people's head. You know, you're just gonna kind of get an authenticity view from it. So my whole thing was like, I know I do some stuff that's like probably cool, but like I personally wouldn't think like, oh yeah, I got to catch this, because I'm not thinking like that in the fly, or we're talking about a conversation that needs to be filmed. But yeah, just sharing what's on my mind, but not giving too much, and then also controlling your personal life. Like if I was in a relationship, I probably wouldn't post it. Not like to hide nobody, but I'm just I think now, especially reaching. I never tell myself, but my friends be like, yo, you internet famous, dog. I still find that weird, because it's a weird balance now, especially with, you know, I'm being kind of seen everywhere now a little bit, and it's growing and growing. My own friends will at me, and I'm just like, you could have just texted me. Like, you know, like it's getting to that point where you kind of have to find that, like, you know, that balance of like, of course people know you know me. Like, you don't have to do this. So, yeah, I struggle with it daily just because I get annoyed by certain things, but also like I'm gonna just share what I'm passionate about, like whether I'm joking on it or something. Or I've also learned how to take breaks from social, you know, and not let it overconsume, because I was like doing about 10 hours a day on my phone and not realizing it. Like it was just taking a huge concept of my life. And I like to go, I mean, you know, with the pandemic and staying safe, sometimes I go out and get some fresh air and go for a walk. Just different things, just constantly trying to learn and sharpen my craft and stuff like that. But I don't think I've mastered a balance. I don't think any of us can, because as humans, we're flawed to be walking contradictions. We can be passionate about something really, really strongly and go back on it. And I think the only thing about when you post it, people think that your mind can't change. Like it's set in stone. You know what I mean? So I always, one quote that stuck out with me is give time. So whether it's listening to music or your opinion on something, because the same thing about, like, obviously it's a sneaker show. You see something, you're like, man, those trash. And then somebody laces them right or wears them with the right fit. And you're like, yo, hey, they actually look fire. Like I might have to go get those now. You know what I mean? So I try to live with things a little bit longer than the actual process, and then come back to it and give my opinion a little later. So I'm like the king of late pass. I really don't care the timely manner of it. And I'm also not like a hipster about it, like, oh, you just now got on the wave. Like, it's like, wow, like, welcome, finally, come on. You know what I mean?
No,
I just now got the obsession with air fryers. Like I'm currently
not where I thought you were going with that, but I'm here for
okay.
No, that's dope though, Trey. And I think, I mean, God, like one of the things I enjoy about you, Trey, is just like your position on things and the way you think about it. Like, and it's a perfect way for us to wrap this first segment because I think, to your point, what we have to always remember is the internet is not real life. Like, regardless of like how we think it is, like it's not. Like, and it's so easy to get caught in that echo chamber, especially on Twitter. Like, Twitter's like what, 2% of the actual world population? Not even. Like, so whatever happens in like I don't care how many followers or whatever, that isn't what the majority of people or the world is thinking or going through. And I think it's just so fascinating that we can all, it's easy. You just get sucked into it and you're like, this is what it is. This is what it is. And it's like, nah, we got to give ourselves time, step back and analyze. But again, nobody wants that, right? Everything nowadays is instant. Everybody's a hilarious comedian on Twitter. Got to get these jokes off first. Like, and it's just, that's the sort of like cycle that you're running on. And I love the fact that you take a step back to sort of give things their proper perspective and do. And in sneakers, I mean, that's a big one, right? Like Gabby had a thing where initially when we saw the Concord sketches, the women's that came out a couple weeks ago, at first she was not feeling them when she first saw the pictures. Then as time went on, she's like, I kind of like these. Like, I think I'm gonna try to get them. And lucky her,
marinate a little bit.
She got a W. She got a W. Got him.
The only one of quarantine.
But folks, stay tuned and stay with us because we're gonna be back with Trey, talk a little bit more about NBA Bubble Life. Trey is one of the masterminds behind that account, and we're gonna get into some on-court NBA stuff and some of the Sneaker Kings. So don't go away. What's up, y'all? We are back chilling with Black Trey. Trey, we got to talk about what's happening in the bubble, specifically NBA Bubble Live, which you, my man, you're one of the creators of that account. Talk about the process that went into and what you thought about, you know what? I got to do this. Like, what was that whole situation like?
Well, it wasn't me, actually. Because we have a group chat and we just like share stuff all the time. Like I'm in like maybe 6 group chats, right? I just create them and put funny names anyway. But this particular one was called Wealth. And Nick DePaula sends a text like at 10 p.m. Like, yo, the bubble guys are arriving the bubble. Like, what would be cool? Like having like a Bubble Live like account. But he obviously didn't want to do it. But we have like a younger homie in there that actually used to write for Slam, Drew Ruiz. Mm-hmm. And Drew's like, he already started a passion project that he was doing, Nostalgic Code, mm-hmm. right? And he posts like all these classic commercials from the 90s and stuff like that and 2000s. And so he was already working on that. So when Nick presented the idea to Drew's like, yeah, it'd be cool. But he wasn't like thrilled about it because he thought he would just have to do all the work.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, Drew, if you're in, we'll piggyback off you. You know what I mean? Like, because I know like right now I'm not working, I can just do it. So then the first thing we're like, all right, let's secure the account name. Because I always tell people when you're making a podcast or you're making anything, secure the name on all platforms, then go buy the URL, then go do all this other stuff because you never know. Right. Mm-hmm. So we locked all that down in like roughly like 7 minutes. Right. But the funny story about it, Wealthy P, mm-hmm. was searching for the name and was like, yeah, I got the name, guys. And it was like Bubble Life 8. And we're like, Bubble, man, we don't want Bubble Life 8. Go get NBA Bubble Life. And he's like, oh, I thought I typed that in. But we were joking on him. We've been ragging on him as of saying that pretty much that he did it for Kobe. Like he put Bubble Life 8. Yeah. So we were like giving him a hard time because he's a diehard Lakers fan. But we ended up locking down the names or whatever. We didn't get the Instagram name, so we had like another name. But actually, a fan ended up like trading with us, so that was pretty cool. So they just became like fans of the work. But J.R. Smith was the first person to get it started. He was on like we seen on Twitter that everybody's like J.R. Smith's on live. He's complaining like this is great, and we ripped it and we posted it up. As soon as we posted it up, man. We woke up. We probably stayed up for like an extra 3 hours. I went to bed like 1 p.m. Pacific time. I mean, 1 a.m. Pacific time, and woke up with like 2,000 followers.
Wow.
I
Wow.
believe
So
it. That JR stuff went viral.
after that, like we
Mm-mm.
rolled out a couple more things. By day 3, we were like at 40,000 followers, dude.
Yeah,
And it
man.
just kind of took
Damn.
off. So by like day 8, we hit 100,000, and it was just like I've been following people on Twitter for like 11 years, and they just now got their 100,000.
No,
You know what I
it's
mean?
yeah.
So
Takes a long time normally.
But see, but that's how you know the content you're putting out is resonating, right? Like when you're able to scale that fast, it's because whatever you're putting out, the people are responding to it. And now, so
Right.
are you guys all? Because I know again, because you're so plugged into the NBA, not just you, Nick is obviously, and I imagine Wells is as well. Are you getting players in the bubble to send you stuff like, "Yo, this shit is hilarious. Look what we just did," or like, "Oh, whatever. Look at this thing."
no, not specifically. You know, like it was all organic. Obviously, with my like third person requote tweets, like y'all should check out this account,
Yeah.
but not giving myself away. You know what I mean? Like outside of that, no, it was organically grown, and like the fact that like players start following it, and then obviously the viral moment of JJ Redick shotgun in a beer, which was Drew's tweet, that got us started, and then everybody else was kind of like, you know, everybody on the internet loves to see themselves, so after a while it just kind of gets contagious. So like people are like randomly shouting out "Bubble Life," like, and I'm like, okay, this is actually a thing. Like this is kind of sick, you know? Like I kind of know how the internet works, and like what time to post, what's a prime time to hold on to something, when to roll it out. And yeah, like we put together a system. We adopted Drew's tweet style with all lowercase letters, you know, putting funny emojis, hashtags, creating different things. Because you got to think about it. All those tweets, we've created every caption. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And also
a lot of work. And
it's hard to be nice to people. Think about that. Like, think about it. Like Gabby mentioned that she's a passionate fan, but you have to look at it like, what if you don't like that? You actually don't like that player.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know? And you still like gotta say something nice to like roll out the content. That's even the more challenge. So it's been cool. You know, obviously we've seen people who say like, this is the highlight of my day. You know, when I get off, go on lunch breaks, I check it. At night, I'm following up to keep up with the bubble. And then I think a personal thing for me was New York Times was the first one to like leak the story and reveal us. But then secondly, Forbes. But most importantly for me was being at LA Times because I'm from Compton.
Yes, sir.
And then also being on the local news with Jim Hill. Like that was kind of fire. Like yo, like my city see me. So everybody's kind of going crazy about that because everybody always is like, what does Trey do? I know he's a teacher, but like he's always with somebody. So what's really going on? But like, man, shout outs to the gang, man. The bubble boys, Nick DePaula, Drew Ruiz, Wells P. You know, I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else, man. It's been a fun ride, obviously creating the content with my guys and getting the love from the world.
Yeah, man. It's been great, Trey. And it's so interesting to me because you're, again, as I said earlier, your journey through this is so unlike anybody else's, but it also is, there's a fundamental piece and a truism that's there in that you are authentically who you are. And because of that, that's why you're attracting all the things that are coming your way, right? I like ball, I like shoes, all these things, and I'm just me, right? You're not trying to fake or be something else to get on and then get this thing. And I think so many people, when they try to like start something, it's like, all right, how do I be like so-and-so? And it's like, nah, like don't be you. Like, and be secure enough in knowing that whoever you are is going to be good enough for whatever lane it is you're trying to get into. I think that's where people run into trouble, right? It's like trying to be something different. But all this is happening to you because you're just authentic.
Well, yeah.
I try to be. That's the thing. I think I think it was a quote about like lying. Like the thing about a lie, you have to remember it.
Yeah.
And that's tiring. So like, I always kind of like, I think 2014 was like a real pivotal moment because I was hanging around these NBA guys and I used to be on Instagram, like acting up, like posting stuff, taking pictures in front of cars, sitting courtside. But it was like not my real life because like I'm a real humble person, but I think I was just trying to attract the wrong type of stuff. So when I jumped off it, like I hit like a real humility wall. It killed my ego. And I think that's like probably been the most pivotal thing in my life to ever happen to me because, you know, always being humble in everything and grateful for every opportunity. Like I'm grateful to be, you know, on this show, You guys could have had any other guest, but just being able to experience that and know that, for one, every day isn't guaranteed. I can't say like, hey, I'm gonna see you guys in March or whatever,
right?
Because I might not wake up tomorrow. So
right.
I'm very grateful for the attention and grateful for the love, grateful for having good energy around me, and constantly moving like that with love. Like, I mean, I think my greatest thing right now is reminding people to drink water every day.
Yeah, you do every day.
I mean, like, that's a joy.
Cheers.
Because cheers. And you know, and telling people, you know what I mean, like that they're cared about. You know what I mean? Because some people are like really having rough days, and it's not easy.
No, especially right now. I mean, I think that's all true. It's you know, not just being authentic, but like, it's, to your point, the timing, the consistency, it's putting in the work. I mean, I think people now are very much wanting new content, wanting stuff that was different. And before we had you on, Gerard and I were talking about, I'm here for Bubble Watch summer camp, like, all day. It's August, there's basketball. Shit's weird, but I am here for all of it. So like, I feel like people are craving the kind of content that you're putting out there. I mean, JR makes it very easy to keep up the entertainment value. I mean, his time in New York, his time in Cleveland, you know, never a dull moment with him. But what are some of the stranger, crazier things that you've seen in Bubble Watch?
Mm.
Well, guys fishing, for sure.
That's been crazy. In a lake that's already stocked with fish, so like your hit rate is 100%. You're gonna catch something. There's a million fish in that tiny little pond.
Yeah, it's a lot of fish in there, but I don't think it's like anything that's like really different. I think that more so with guys having all that free time after practice or something like after games and stuff, it's like Hassan Whiteside has been really killing it on social. Like, I know he's probably kind of like annoying to people, but like, he's making the best of this. Like, he's always talking about, like, he's like, yo, I'm trying to get clumsy. Like, he said something last night. He's playing. Oh, he was downloading season 5 for Call of Duty. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get clumsy. I'm trying to drop something. And if you don't know, like, catching that reference, he's trying to shoot some people on the game, like, and drop bodies. Like, so he like, I'm trying to drop something, but the internet, he like, where Mickey at? I need that Mickey internet. Y'all gave me that goofy internet, like, you know, and I'm loving it because, like, sometimes, I mean, before Bubble Life, I used to think that dude was corny, like, but it's like, it's really been like laughable moments. And you got Myers Leonard, like, shotgunning beers, like, he's calling himself the king of the bubble. Like,
that's amazing.
Like, it's so wild. Like, guys are breaking golf clubs. Guys are like super competitive.
Yeah.
Guys are riding bikes, like
playing slam ball, like all kinds.
It's legit summer camp right now. It is.
Yeah,
summer
that's
camp.
what it is. That's what it is at this point, and it's been a joy to cover. You know, obviously, and it looks like it might move over to to the next season. It looks good for us. You know, from a marketing standpoint, you know, it's fire. You know what I mean? To be ahead of the curve.
No, and that's the thing, and you are ahead of that curve because I'm thinking, like, right. As a credentialed media member myself, I'm obviously not in Orlando in the bubble, but I'm like, when are we ever going to go back to because, here in New York, go back to the Garden or back to Barclays with my credential and just rolling in there? That may not be for a long time. And even when we're ready for that, I don't know if I'm going to feel like, all right, I'm cool with this. I'm good to be here with 20,000 people. Like, I might be like, nah, you know what? Let me chill with that for a minute. So it's good that you're exactly where you are. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about all the stuff happening in the bubble. And we are a sneaker show, so we, of course, must talk about the sneaker god, PJ Tucker. I mean, homie, what was the number, Gabby? How many suitcases did he bring down there?
I don't even think I can count that high with the amount of suitcases. I don't know how he got all of that into the bubble. I mean, he's got like a full flex going on.
So I got a funny story, actually. And I got the text right when I needed it.
I love it.
Specific time. So funny thing about PJ and the eBay thing, eBay is responsible for PJ getting his first debit card.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it inspired him to get his first debit card, which same thing happened for Nick DePaula. But, he spent like 2 to 3 hours, you know what I mean, just online, just searching for shoes. And, I think it's like 5 pair that he doesn't have that he really wants. But, like him and Matt Hatfield got cool, but he also seen Royal Ivy actually inspired his like real love. You know what I mean? His former teammate at UT, who's now a coach. But Royal will always have heat, and but he was getting it from eBay, and once he found that out, and it changed his life. And after that, he just was firing it up, so it's just been original for him.
Yeah, man. PJ, because the thing about PJ is, like, even before the bubble, like, I would love it when he would, and obviously I knew he was doing it on purpose. He would just show, like, a pair of shoes that nobody's seen before. Boom. And you'd be like, how the hell did you get those already? And you remember the one where the UNC basketball team, they had their Jordan 3s, but they had a special with the UNC logo on the tongue instead of the Jumpman logo, all that. Yo, that same day he saw them, I don't know which player he played, but he paid one of them, and he got the shoes, and we were like, wow. PJ, when he is committed to this game, like he is, when he wants something, he's like, nah, I'm gonna get this pair of shoes. And he's got that partnership with eBay now, where they're gonna be doing content from his sneaker loft in Houston. And my God, I mean, he's got thousands and thousands and thousands of pairs of shoes. I mean, it's like you could actually go to. I mean, the only problem is, of course, is that if you don't rock your size, I mean, good luck. what you gonna do?
Yeah, he has a. I think it's like a weird situation. I think he wears a 15 but plays in a 14 and like takes soles out and swaps
the insoles out because you can feel better.
Yeah, so he's a pro because that's the throwback trick too. Yeah. Like if they ain't have your size, like, all right, I'm gonna take the soles out. It might be sticky on your socks after you take the shoes off.
That's okay, worth it.
You got to make it work, man.
See that, people? Trey just gave you guys a little trick if you didn't know it. I mean, if you're watching the show, we hope you know. But for you newbies, your size ain't yours. Take them insoles out, baby, and you good.
Still good. Like, you won't mess up them feet. It'll give you like a half size or something.
That's half of my ones. No soles. I can never get my size. I mean, you guys know I take L's like on the reg. Get rid of those insoles. Size down. It's perfect.
Oh man, no, but it is crazy. And PJ, I think. The NBA and guys in the league and their sneakers, I think that is so fascinating to me because you got guys who rock other guys' shoes, right? A lot of guys in the league wear KDs, a lot of guys wear Kyries. And Trey, something interesting you said to me, or not to me, but you said sort of as a general statement about sneakers. You were like, because I was asking about price points, and you were like, the Kyries always sell because the shoe design is consistent and the price point is where you want it. Talk a little bit about that, because if I see a pair of shoes that's $250, again, when we talked about this offline, because I often sometimes get gifted pairs from these brands, me actually having to come out of my pocket is like, I don't know about that. But the Kyries being at 120, I think is about what their price point is. That's nice. And consistency wise, I actually like how they look. Talk about like why that's important versus I'm not saying LeBron's shoes aren't nice, but man, 170, 180, and they're kind of big and bulky. Not really for me.
Well, you have to think about it, too. We don't have the same access to NBA players. We don't get new pair of shoes every time we go hoop. If you're actually going to buy a specific basketball shoe to hoop in, that's why I thought the PG1 was such a great, crazy debut. It wasn't that it was Paul George the player. It was a decent-looking shoe. It was comfortable. And the price point was ridiculous. At 120, I think it was 110 after tax. Right? Who's not going to get those? So like the same thing with Kyrie being able to switch up the flavors and, put his own spin on it and have backstories. They look really cool, but the price point is right there in money. Versus LeBron, yes, LeBron is, elite. He's probably like top 1, top 2 players in the league and has earned it, rightfully so, to have his shoes sold at $200. But they're heavy. They're made for a specific type of player. The look's just not for me, but I respect them. But overall, like I think shoes at a nice base. Like when KD first came out, his shoes were like $88, right? And they were flying off the racks. Well, not KD1. I want to say from KD2, KD3, and I think 4 was probably the last one that I really got jiggy with. I like the 7 on pearls.
I was gonna say the 7s are dope. That's what I like.
I like the 9s.
Okay. Yeah, I just personally tapped out on them. You know what I mean? Like it was certain shoes. Like my grill is the Adidas Pro Model 2G and Kobe 4.
Okay.
Because of the ankle liner. I like I freed up my ankle with the low cut. But the price point is very important, especially when you got bills and you got stuff to do, and you want to have like a still cool shoe that has like, oh, this is a signature shoe. Like, I got the new Kyrie's or something. You still want to get that off, but it's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, and they're comfortable. They're really solid. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Kyrie 3 I didn't like. The frontal was like really tight on the foot. So, and Converse is really doing a thing. I got the weapons, the Pro BBs.
Yeah,
so those are pretty cool. Like, they're very light and comfortable, and they have like the Nike technology integration with that too. So Converse is doing a thing. They're signing all the League Fits guys.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
The style makers.
Exactly.
That's right.
We're gonna get into this in our next episode, in our next segment when we talk about a little shoe and tell. I do want to talk to you a little bit about Puma New Balance, in particularly the Puma J. Cole. So everybody stay tuned. We're gonna talk about that in our next segment, shoe and tell, coming up. Peace. What's good, y'all? We are back with Black Trey. And before we get into shoe and tell, Trey, I wanted to talk about a couple of shoes because we wrapped up the last segment talking about the Kyries. How do you feel about Puma's re-entry to basketball, and then dovetail that with the new J. Cole signature shoe? Not a basketball player. Well, let me rephrase that. Cole actually is a basketball player. He's not a professional basketball player, but Cole is a hooper, like someone who actually cares about the craft of basketball and like is actually pretty good. Like when you watch him play. How you feel about Puma's re-entry into hoop sneakers and the Cole sneaker in particular?
Man, first of all, kudos to their social team. When they first launched Puma Hoops, they got after it. Like they had the humor, they had everything that everybody should have been doing. But obviously, like a Nike, they don't have to do it. But it would have been fun to have that kind of fun twist on it. And then them actually like landing guys. I personally don't own a pair, but of any Puma Hoop shoes, but they looked solid. And then obviously, with what they're doing with J. Cole, giving him a signature shoe, has been really really nice to see. I mean, I'm not a fan of the high tops, but the low tops are really nice. The colors pop. Yeah. All the players playing in them have kind of praised them. You know what I mean? Like, they're really comfortable, and like I said, it's not like you're paying a hoop in a shoebox. Like, they're good sneakers. So I think it's really cool, and I think Puma is doing really well, especially offering their PJ, their private jet, when guys fly all around the country. Yeah, man, kudos to Cole and his team over there in Dreamville, and him being able to be part of something special in history. And then he also is, like you mentioned, he is a hooper. The Detroit Pistons, I don't know if they were trolling or not, but obviously
I saw that.
Has encouraged him to try out or whatever.
Yeah.
We see Master P get scrimmage stuff and preseason stuff, but I will say I just don't want J. Cole to get hurt because he is 35 years old, just like me.
Right.
And I know how father time is, but he's working really hard. He is in the gym working, and best of luck for him in his journey.
And that's the thing, right? Let's all be clear about this. Like, J. Cole ain't making the NBA, people. So anybody who's thinking that's not happening. Like, look, I mean, think about someone
it's some kids on the internet that think that for one, that 35 is young in life.
Yes,
35
not young in basketball.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. Jamal Crawford just got brought back to the league. And that's Jamal Crawford, a walking
He hurt his
bucket.
hamstring.
Right.
Braun, 35.
Right. Like, you ain't, it ain't that. 35. Cole nice, he ain't NBA nice.
Like, me, Cole, and LeBron at 35, bro. Right. And I've been on the couch. So to get up off the couch. Hey.
That shot looks good, though. I'm not going to lie. It has outside threes.
Now, LeBron getting ready, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Lakers do in the postseason. We're liking what we're seeing with them. Although I did say Clippers early, and I've been on Clippers since the preseason.
I was gonna say Lakers weren't even in Gerard's top three. Let's
no, stop it. No. I always listen. First of all, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a duo that could stop LeBron and AD. Like, good luck stopping that pick and roll. Like, I mean, you're toast. However, my issue was never about them two. It was everybody else on the Lakers that I was like, I don't know about these dudes. Like, that's always my thing. And you know how championships are. It's the margins. Yeah, Anthony Davis and LeBron are going to be who they are. Excellent. It's everybody else. What are y'all going to do when you got to make that shot? And, I trust more of the Clippers guys than I trust the Lakers guys. But, we'll see what happens. One more brand I want to talk about, Trey, is New Balance. Signing Kawhi was obviously big for them. How do you feel about their design and how I don't own any New Balance basketball shoes, I want to be clear, but like I mean, they're going for it in terms of the design. Like they're going color. The colors are popping. They're really trying to go after it.
Shoes comfortable too.
Is Kawhi the right guy? And I think that they're marketing behind that whole idea of like fun guy. And I like their advertising. I think it's very clever.
I don't think that. Obviously, New Balance is known for like their lifestyle and running sneakers. So basketball is kind of like a passion project just to be a player in the game at this point. And having like even their rollouts for Kawhi shoes are very limited. Like they're not like you can just go in the store and get them. So like I'm gonna say it's Omni One.
Yep, Omni One. Yep.
You know, I got a chance to be invited to Kawhi's Funhouse in LA when they did the pop up.
I love it.
And that was actually a cool concept. But you know, like pretty much it's cool. Like I said, it's kind of hard. I remember back then Charlie Bell had a New Balance deal and somebody else had a New Balance deal where they were trying to, you know, do some stuff back in 2009. But yeah, I mean they're doing their thing. I don't love the second second sneaker that he's been wearing now that's supposed to debut, I guess, you know, and for the next season, but because he's prematurely wore them, and I think that they can make some changes to him. But I'm not mad at him for being a player in the game, you know, because you know obviously some sneaker companies that were around have kind of bowed out and just kind of stuck to certain things.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can still be, you know, in the mix and get some sales, especially with Kawhi winning the championship. The fun guy. I ended up with a fun guy T-shirt, which was pretty cool. I like it, man. And his sense of humor is very dry, but like,
I love it.
but easy.
Yeah.
Because you know a Kawhi.
Yeah.
In your real life, so you know, not hard to like embrace.
Go ahead, Gabs.
I was going to say, we talk about a lot how Nike and Jordan Brand is the giant of the NBA. Do you think that New Balance has a chance of making it? I mean, we know that if they hit the wrong mark in a shoe, like that's it. But like, is Kawhi the right move? Do they need to sign other athletes? Do we think New Balance has a chance of staying in the game?
Well, Darius Baisley is another athlete who got a chance to intern with them, and he is with them. And I don't think that that's their ultimate goal. Okay. I think that it's just, you know, just kind of, like I said, a passion project more so for them just to say like, hey, we did it, you know, because they're not really pushing too much out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, we're trying to go get some new people. And I don't think anyone's going to kind of topple Nike just because it's brand loyalty and nostalgia sells. So if all you know is the swoosh, that's pretty much what you're going to see. That's why when people do Photoshops and add the swoosh to a certain sneaker, it looks so much better. But yeah, it's hard to kind of rival. I mean, even Adidas tried, you know, adding Kanye West and other Pharrell Williams and other. They even have Beyonce. And it's still not like enough to like even scratch the surface with Nike. You know what I mean? But respectfully to those other companies, I think that they're doing the best that they can and keeping their head above the water. Yeah. And I think that they're going to continue to grow and have some small little smudge on the window here and there where they create something because New Balance is classic stuff. Yeah. I mean, like the
lifestyle,
the Joe Fresh goods were crazy. The Bodega, like they have some crazy rollout. I never get a pair, so New Balance, if you're listening, look out for your boy. They actually got something coming out tomorrow too. That's kind of fire. They got some fire colorways. I'm a Heather Gray guy.
I love it.
I love it. That.
What size?
11.5.
There you go.
You got it. There you go.
No, I think you're right on that though, Trey. And for New Balance, if it's going to be a passion project, I think having Kawhi is a perfect guy for them. Fun guy. And I love that whole concept. And they're just going to rock in that lane. Do you? And again, they have other cool lifestyle stuff they can do as well. I think it's a smart move by New Balance. But we're really here for Shoe and Tell to show off some of your heat. Before we get into your shoes, you got to pop that Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey for the people to see. I mean,
knuckle pop guy.
if you're a kid of the 90s, I mean, even if you don't like the NHL or hockey, you know what that jersey is.
That logo.
So I got a couple hockey jerseys. Hockey, NHL was probably the first actual professional sport I've seen in person.
Okay.
At the Great Western Forum, I seen Wayne Gretzky play for the Kings. but I'm a Kings fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't overall as being a fan, like I don't have any team loyalty. So if the jersey has like dope colors and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously like the Mighty Ducks have like rechanged all their
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just a classic from like your Disney's time when you watch D2 and D3 and Mighty Ducks, the original. Like, you know, it was just a special time in my life. So nostalgia sells. But there's a consignment shop out here called Wang's Vintage, and this jersey was $60, and I was just like, I gotta have it. and I like wore it one day, like, and I just like randomly throw it on, like when I'm running errands, like going to Target and stuff, and people like double take. But it's cool, you know, like I really enjoy it. The only thing is I'm like a skinny guy, so like hockey jerseys without the pads are like really loose on me. So yeah, it's cool, you know.
And it's interesting because that used to be a thing back in the day, right? You know, like you rock the hockey jerseys, it's like a fashion statement. That the NASCAR jackets, I mean, those were.
I got a NASCAR jacket too. Like I hold on to a lot of stuff, man.
That was big into what we were wearing back in the day. Stuff. Oh yeah, all that stuff, man. It was those were the times. But Trey, I know you got some heat you want to show off to the fans. And speaking of nostalgia sells, I think you're gonna take us back a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so Gabby actually mentioned these. She said she played it. So these, you know, for people that's not really knowing, Nike Air Zone Flight 95, popular by Jason Kidd. Now, this actually wasn't Jason Kidd's signature shoe, but the culture always claims this is Jason Kidd's actual shoe. It was just really.
Right?
You said what?
Jerry Stackhouse played in those too for a little bit, right?
A bunch of well, Stackhouse actually was a Fila guy, but if you go back and watch anything from '95. Guys had different colorways. These were kind of rolled around. They kind of Terrell Brandon wore these in the All-Star game, like in San Antonio. Like, so it's like so many people wore it, and like I didn't know like cool names. Like I didn't know like this was Carbon back then. So like I would say Taxi Bubble.
I love it,
like,
Taxi Bubble.
I don't know. I was 10 years old when these came out, and they didn't make them in like kid sizes, so it was 7.5 and up. Right. And my uncle Ronnie had these in his room, and I would go in his room and hold them and look at them. So when they finally retroed, I bought, and I was playing college basketball at this time. I bought 3 pair. I gave one to my teammate because he just kept begging, like, "Oh, let me have them." Like, so every time these come out, I buy at least 3 pair. But this shoe actually symbolizes me and Nick DePaula's friendship. I met Nick in 2014. And we had a conversation. He invited me to come to Soul Collector in Portland. And we just was talking about sneakers. And I asked him, like, yo, what's your favorite sneaker? He's like, the Air Zone Flight 95. I was like, yo, me too. And it was a stepbrother's mom. You know, like, did we just become best friends? But, yeah, this shoe means so much to me. Like, you know,
I love it.
Hopefully I can get another pair. I seen on StockX they're like $1,100, so like you're not gonna ever get my money for that.
They're not even there on my size. I've been looking for a long time.
And they actually, you guys said I can show as many, but I'm gonna keep it to 2. Nike Air Bacon.
Oh, I remember those.
These are really fun and very controversial. So I don't have. This is actually the retro. This is actually the second pair, the retro pair. That rolled out in the late 2000s, like I think 2010 or something like that, the 2010s. But the controversial was the back had I think it was a certain religion that had the flames. The air was like that, and they rolled out that way. And they had a protest, and they removed it. So Nike had a recall on the sneaker, and yeah, like Tim Hardaway was popular for these. This is his shoe. He played for the Miami Heat at the time, and I had NBA Live 98.
Yep, 98.
I want to say, and it was on a cover, and I was like, "Yo, I want these." Like this, it just popped, and like it was like around the prime time of my basketball career. I was like 12, 13. I was still a short guard. I couldn't dunk yet, but these were a heavy ass shoe to play in, but like so cool it popped. Like but those are very special to me. Also the Nike Air Penny too, which I didn't pull out, but like
Penny had some fire. Yeah, that was
silhouette is still like, you know, I hold dearly to my heart, and I'll never let go. Like I'm gonna cry when they actually fall apart. So hopefully I can like I know I told you guys like I don't buy sneakers anymore, but like if I can find any of these shoes like this that for a very low price, a decent price, so under 200, I'm always going to get.
See, there you go. That's what we need in the community, right? In the culture, we need more of these situations where we can get some of these shoes at prices that people are willing to pay, right? We don't got to go into these thousands of dollars. Come on, man, chill with all that. But there's got to be some prices that people are willing to pay, and I feel you on that, Trey.
I have a 3-day rule. I have a 3-day rule with sneakers, right? If I'm not going to wear them more than 3 days, then I don't want them.
Yeah.
So like, because the 3-day rule, it's conversation, attention. The next time is when you're going to wear them again. And then the third time, do you still care about them? So that's the thing. And I always, that's how I think about my purchase. So I always think about neutral colors because obviously when stuff rolls out, they always be wild colors that you have to put if you're a person that match, I dress like a 6-year-old. So I'm probably never, I never match, but like if you're a person that match, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, I'm going to wear purple lobsters. That means your entire closet probably is going to have a majority of purple. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be like, you caught me one day where I'm just wearing like I might have a little purple thing in my logo, but everything else is I'm not matching. Like it's kind of sick, like something like that. But I got so many other shoes that I'm like, I'm not gonna wear these once, or like Valentine's Day wearing Strange Loves, like theme stuff like that. That's
a specific vibe,
Yeah, I ain't gonna like Stranger Things season come out. I'm gonna probably wear the hoodie and the Cortez, like just different stuff
you
like
got
that.
those. Yeah, those I love that collab. That was a nice collab. That was
dope.
That was really nice.
I got some Jordan 1s that I beat. I skate in those, so I beat them on purpose.
Oh, and the ones,
like the more aged and ugly they look, they're
all about that livestock.
I love it. Trey's a livestock, folks. You know, here at Kicks and Shit, we always talk about dead stock versus livestock. Hey, man, if you're gonna buy them, rock them, right? Or else, what's the point? But Trey, man, this has been dope. We really appreciate having you on. I'll let the people know what they should be looking out for from you coming up.
Well, I'm free if anybody needs to hire me. But also, follow the Bubble Life. Be looking out for our donation T-shirt. We have a T-shirt that's going to be rolling out. That can be found on the Bubble Life website. That's in the bio. All proceeds go to the Black nurses of Central Florida. And then also, as of right now, just catch me on the timeline creating something. I don't know. And my Twitter handle is @Travonne, TRAVONNE. And on Instagram, you can find me @Travonne Edwards. Yeah.
There you go, Trey, man. This has been a pleasure, folks. Thank you for tuning into the Kicks and Shit Show. As always, you know where to find us: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, @Kicks and Shit Show. All that. We're back with another episode. See you guys soon. Peace.